What's up, guys? It's Dave here from Metal Epidemic. I'm in Edinburgh at the Mash House with Tom from Vatican. How are you doing, sir?
I'm pretty washed. I'm pretty beat.
Are you really?
Yeah. I don't remember where we were last night. We were in Hamish.
Newcastle?
Where were we last night?
Newcastle.
You're right. Is Newcastle?
Newcastle.
We were in Newcastle last
Newcastle,
night.
yeah.
And I slept in the van and I'm just like beat and tired.
Wiped.
I'm also just a very tired person. But other than that, I'm good. This tour's been really, really cool.
Yeah.
The other bands are dope. All the shows have been awesome. I haven't been over here. It's band's first time here.
Oh, is it? Oh, cool.
It's not my first time here for music, but it's the band's first time. So
Yeah.
I haven't been here in a while.
Oh, nice.
So it's really, really dope to
You've
come
been in
back.
Scotland? You've been in Scotland before yourself, yeah?
Yeah, I've been to Scotland. I came to Scotland on like a school trip when I was like 11 or something
nice.
like that. And
Yeah.
then I used to be in another band that came up here a couple of times in like 2015 or 16 or
nice.
something like that.
Nice.
But yeah, so it's been years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Nice one. So you guys obviously just dropped your new album about 3-4 months ago, Ultra.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it.
Thank you.
We all loved it at Metal Epidemic. Thought it was an absolutely fantastic
Awesome.
album.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
It felt like everything was kind of leveled up on this album
sure.
compared to the last one.
For sure.
You're quite happy with the response you've had to the album?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, people feel like it's like a level up. The first record that we did, Soul Impulse, I still think it's cool, but it was, we did it on like not a lot of time, not a lot of money. A good chunk of it we wrote during like a week-long tour,
Okay.
like bouncing in and out of like our friend's house, like going to shows, coming back, doing this whole thing. And
Yeah.
this record we took way more time to write because we were writing part of it over the pandemic, and took way more time to make it.
Yeah.
And everything that we did was just better. And every aspect of making the record was better. It was still very stressful, but I'm super happy with the response. People seem like they like it a lot. A bunch of people told me it's like, yeah, album of the year contender for me, this and that, which is really cool,
awesome.
really nice. Because I don't really think very highly of anything that like I do in music.
Right, okay.
I do know that the record is good, but I'm always like,
Quite
it's all right. So
self-critical,
when people like say that, it's very nice and affirming, and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So.
It felt like there was a lot more moving parts on this album. Was it a more lengthy kind of process putting this one together compared to Soul Impulse?
For sure. This record was definitely more collaborative.
Okay.
The first record, everybody in the band worked on the first record for sure, but because of the time frame, I just kind of ended up writing a lot of it and then recording a lot of it and everything. This record, everybody had like a lot of gas for it. It was Mike's, our new singer Mike. It was his first record with us, and you know he like definitely knocked it out of the park. He's a machine. So yeah, like it was less stressful in that regard than the first record. It was more stressful because since there were more moving parts, there's a lot more things to consider.
Yeah.
The electronic element of the band got much more pronounced, and that was something that like we're all still kind of learning as we go.
Yeah.
So figuring out how to work that in was like a big thing for us, and like some of these songs are pretty difficult as far as like what we're physically able to do at the time of writing them. We all like write things that we can't play, and then just try to like get to the point that we can play them.
Yeah.
But like I'm super happy with how it came out. And people seem to think it's dope and everything. And for as stressful as it was, I would love to repeat the process again.
Yeah, for sure.
As soon as we can.
Yeah. It felt like it was a lot more intense in terms of the aggressive parts of the album and the kind of cleaner parts of the album as well. Was that the kind of the process or the thought behind this album, was just to kind of go at it as hard as possible?
Yeah, for sure. It was definitely like we use gaming terminology a lot. So like a level up thing was like a huge thing for us in that like we figured out how we wanted the band to sound on the last record, and then it's just how far can we push it on things like technicality.
Sure.
We wanted this record. The last record wasn't very shreddy. We wanted this one to have more fucking notes in it. And then as far as the melodic stuff, it's something that we had always wanted to do. We just like it was just not something that we ever really had the time to figure out how to do. And now just because we had like a year of not doing any shows to make a record, or to like at least write the record, it made figuring that stuff out a lot easier, because we wrote like 30 songs or some shit like that. and then only half of them make the record because only half of them were actually good. So we filtered out a lot of bullshit in that regard, which is what I think bands should do anyway.
Yeah. I was going to ask about the kind of cleaner side of the album, because it's something you guys hadn't really kind of touched on before in terms of like vocals and stuff like that. Was there any kind of apprehension about putting that in, like Where Heavens Collide, that type of thing, those types of tracks?
For sure. So when Mike joined the band, we knew that he could scream. We'd heard his old band Church Tongue. We knew that like he could do all that, he could write lyrics and everything, and it wasn't a requirement when we were looking for a new singer that they could sing, but we'd already asked Mike to join the band, and then Hosey and I, our drummer Hosey, and we wrote the first probably minute and a half of that song one night, of that song Where Heavens Collide, and then I put a demo together and just sent it to Mike. I was like, can you sing over this? Like, if you can't, if it's not something you're comfortable with, or if it's not a big deal, it's just we were pretty early in the writing process, and I think that was actually the first song on the record that actually ended up with the vocals on it, with like an idea done, because it was so early in that. And if that song hadn't have worked, we just probably wouldn't have done that stuff. But he like knocked it out of the park. He sounded like the initial demo was very close to what ended up being on the record. He and his wife, Maddie, she has a project called iris.exe where it's like it's music in a vaguely similar vein to that song. And they were like pretty collaborative on that. And wrote a lot of stuff together, and so it was awesome. But yeah, there was definitely some, I don't know if this will work, and even every time we wrote another song with singing, it was just like, I mean, if we get to the end and it's cool, we'll keep it. If we get to the end and it's cheeks, we'll fucking dump it. Which is how it was for every song on the record. You guys worked with Randy LaBeouf for the production of the album, which is absolutely killer, like again, leveled up from that last album. Yeah, he's the dude, it sounds awesome.
So good, and he's worked with so many like big name kind of metal bands. What was that experience like working with him?
It was the most time we ever had to make a record. It was the most time I've ever personally had to make a record, and it was like the most comfortable I've been, because it's like super stressful, and I'm like a hyper depressed person. I have a lot of difficulty with stress, and so when it was very stressful for me, which was the whole fucking time, he was real good about like centering everything and just making everything fun. Because even though we had 6 weeks to do it, but 6 weeks seems like a ton of time to make music. Actually, no, it was probably like 5, but it's not in reality when you're doing it at a certain level. So he made it really fun. He's a really funny dude. He has a lot of great ideas. He was it was one of the only dudes that we've ever worked with that we were super open to his input, because his ideas were so great and he was just so chill about the whole thing. He's just a really fun hang. Loves to eat fucking shitty food and feed you fucking wings. Order like 300 wings with him for Hosian's birthday, and we're just pigging out. It's really funny. It's awesome. Yeah, he's a good dude.
Yeah, sounds good. And just I wanted to quickly ask about the artwork of the album, because it is absolutely awesome. Yeah. You worked with Vicky Campobello, is that?
I believe that was
her name. Yeah. How did that collab come about? I've seen some of her stuff online.
Yeah.
It's got quite she's got quite a hybrid kind of style.
Yeah, for sure.
Was that something you went to with her, or did she come up with the idea?
So we had the idea for what we wanted to do. That was actually our other guitar player, Nolan. It was his idea. He kind of ran with that. We were talking to another person that does like 3D art. Yeah. And they were like, well, I don't think I can take this on, but you should talk to Vicky. Hooked us up with her. And then it was awesome. There's like a language barrier there, so it was a lot of just talking on WhatsApp. And the process kind of took a long time. Okay. Specifically, just after she made the 3D model and rendered the image, what color it was going to be. Right. That took annoyingly long for us to figure out what the color scheme would be for the record before we landed on like the gold theme that goes through everything. But she was awesome. She was dope. She worked really fast, really hard. It took all the part that took a year to figure out was on us, not her. She nailed it really quick, and it ended up being way more like iconic than I felt like it would be at first. Because I just don't think very visually at all. I think about music, not the visuals of things. So I was just like, I don't know, it's probably cool. And then after I sat with it for all, like, this is awesome. It's very like defining thing for the band.
Yeah, fits the music perfectly.
Yeah, for sure. I think so too. That's the big thing, is that it feels like, especially with like the electronic element of the band, it goes with it. And a lot of people think that it's actually Mike's wife, Maddie, because she's in some of our music videos. Yeah, and people think it was that art was done way before we had her involved in everything, and it's just like a happy coincidence that the art and Maddie herself both look somewhat similar. Okay. So it fit the whole theme and everything. It was a nice little coincidence.
All came together, yeah. So obviously, album's out. Do you guys, like, obviously the album's been out for a few months, but the writing process was done obviously a while ago.
Yeah.
Do you guys always in kind of writing mode? Do you always writing ideas, or do you kind of take a break from
yeah.
that?
We definitely took a break after finishing the record because everyone was kind of cooked. But we still try to like keep going constantly. We've written probably, we're talking about now what we're gonna do next and like what we're gonna work on. We have some demos and everything.
Oh, nice.
We bring like a demo rig with us, and probably once or twice a tour, one or two of us will sit down and crank out like a song or two, like just while we're sitting around because there's nothing else to do.
Yeah.
And then I think in December we're gonna start actually writing for whatever the next thing is and just putting some songs together.
Cool.
Yeah, we're not always doing it, but
Yeah.
once we start, it's like we write a lot of stuff. A lot of it is not good, but you have to get through all that to get to the good stuff. So once we start, which is basically now, it'll be like a song or two a week. Of stuff. That's just the rate that we work at.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
So once this tour is done, what's kind of next for?
Dude,
for
I wish I could. I can't actually say it because it's not like announced yet.
Right. Okay.
The main thing is we're gonna play a bunch of shows in America in like November, December.
Okay.
We're gonna play some shows, and then we have another release of some sort that's gonna happen early next year, and a bunch of other touring that's gonna happen next year. We're gonna take a little break because no one wants to sit in a van anymore, and then once the spring hits, we're gonna play a bunch of shows, record some music, put some music out, just keep being a band, keep being a hardcore band, keep playing shows, doing all that stuff. Hopefully the songs will be like really crazy and cool and interesting. We're trying to like do some like curveball stuff and some collaboration stuff with some people that we're working on right now that will definitely be rad. I just can't talk about it because otherwise I'll get in a bunch of fucking trouble and everyone will fucking smack me around.
True, yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, I can't wait to hear it.
Cool.
I'm really looking forward to your set tonight.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it, man.
No problem, brother.
Thank you much. Thanks, guys.
Bye.